are listening to the Stop Binge Eating podcast with Kirsten Sarfty, episode number 363. Welcome to the Stop Binge Eating podcast. It's time for you to end your food obsession and begin feeling confident and in control around food. You are absolutely capable of eliminating binge eating from your life, and I'm going to show you how by giving you simple tools and insights that you can apply in your own life. I'm your host, Kirsten Sarfty. Now let's get to it. Hello. Tomorrow, Wednesday, July 16th of 2025, registration will be opening for the Stop Binge Eating program. If you join, you will get my direct help, a structure to follow, personalized strategies and tips, and we will cover everything you need to know and do to stop binge eating. Everything you need will all be in one place so you can stop searching around the internet for answers. And I will be there with you every step of the way. So if you feel lost or unmotivated or confused, or if you aren't making progress, I will help you. You don't have to figure it all out on your own. You don't have to keep repeating the same patterns over and over again. You can do something different. You can change, and I will help you do it in this program. So if you're ready to stop doing the things that haven't been working for you, or if you're just ready to take what you've learned on the podcast to the next level, come work with me directly in the program. You can get all the info and register by going to coachker.com/group. If you're listening to this on Tuesday, the day before registration opens, join the waitlist on that page so you can get notified via email tomorrow as soon as registration opens. And if you have any questions that aren't answered on that page, you can email them to info@coachker.com, COACHKIR. It's time to do something different so you can get a different outcome. So let's do that something different together. All right, now on to today's topic, control. The word control is used a lot for people who binge eat, and it's usually when they're talking about being out of control. When they binge, they feel out of control. When they feel an urge to binge, they feel out of control. They think they can't control themselves around certain foods. So with all that, they think they just don't have self-control. But really, they do. They have so much, but they're using it in the wrong way. They're using the control they do have to control certain things. But controlling in the way they are is what actually leads them to feeling so out of control. So let me explain what I mean. One thing that many people who binge eat control is their emotions. They control them with food. They use food to change how they feel, to numb how they feel, to make themselves feel better. They may feel out of control with the eating, but at the same time, they are in control of changing their emotions. They're controlling their emotions, but are feeling out of control with the food. They're wondering why they can't control their eating, and it's because they can't control their emotions with food and control their eating at the same time. If they controlled their eating and stopped, then they wouldn't be controlling their emotions anymore. So basically, they're choosing to control their emotions rather than control what they're eating. They let go of controlling their eating so they can control their emotions. So there they are thinking they are out of control when really they are using control. It's just focused on the wrong thing. If they weren't controlling their emotions in that way, they wouldn't be eating the food. They'd be controlling their eating. This is why it's so important to not try to be so controlling of your emotions in that way. This is why I talk so much about allowing yourself to feel your emotions, because then you can let yourself feel how you're feeling, not try to force yourself into feeling different, and the food won't be involved at all. If you aren't controlling your emotions with food, it'll be so much easier to just be in control of what you're eating. And real quick, I want to be clear about what I mean when I say to allow yourself to feel your emotions. I'm not saying that you just need to feel uncomfortable forever or for an extended period of time. I believe in working through your feelings and your thoughts so you can feel better. But it's not forceful or immediate like controlling your feelings with food is. It's not a quick escape from how you're feeling. You let yourself feel it, and then you work on it so you can feel better. That's what I'm an advocate for. Instead of controlling your feelings in a forceful way, it's controlling them in a productive way, a way that will take effort, but that won't be as temporary as what you experience when you're controlling your emotions with food. Then there's the body control and the food control. Most people who binge eat are also trying to control the size of their bodies, and they do it by being overly controlling with what they're eating and how much they're eating in order to do it. They're using excessive control to try and make their eating perfect for weight loss or to not gain weight. And at some point, that excessive control gets tiring. They get tired of being so rigid and strict. So they let go. They let go of all that control and just let all their pent up food desires go wild. They stop trying to control what they eat and just eat whatever they feel like eating, whatever comes into their mind without much conscious thought. Then they blame themselves for not having control. But really, they had so much control until the point when they decided to let go of it. And they let go of it because it was too much. And when they do let go of it, it can be hard to get themselves back to feeling in control because they so badly want a change in how they're eating. The desire for all they'd been denied of is so strong that it overrides their desire to eat less. So in this case, it's not that they don't have control with their eating. They are actually controlling too much. The out of control eating happens as a reaction to being too controlling. So if they want to not get to the point of feeling out of control, they need to stop being too controlling. You don't need to be so rigid and strict with what and how much you're eating. You don't need to not allow foods, cut out foods, forbid foods, and make them off limits. You don't need to force yourself to not eat when you're hungry. Notice that, again, I used the word that I used when I was talking about feelings, force. You have control and you are likely using it to force your emotions to change, force your body to change, force your eating to change. And we can only force for so long before we get exhausted and give up on it completely and do the exact opposite of what we'd been forcing. We let go, we stop controlling and let the eating just happen. So if you want to feel more in control with your eating, stop forcing yourself to control your emotions, your body, and what you're eating. Now, I get that part of what I just said might sound confusing. If you want to feel more in control with your eating, stop forcing yourself to control what you're eating. But again, the key word here is force. You can be in control of what you're eating, but not do it in a forceful way. You can just be intentional about what you're eating and not eating and how much you're eating. You can make decisions and honor your decisions. You can choose what you eat and don't eat. That is you controlling what you do, but you don't have to force yourself to eat things you don't want to eat just for the sake of controlling your body size. Something that not enough people realize is that it is possible to eat foods you like to eat and not gain weight. So many of us have been brainwashed to believe that certain foods are going to make you fat or that you can't lose weight if you eat certain foods. But it is simply not true. Because it's not the foods that cause weight gain or that stop weight loss. It's the amount of them. So we don't need to force ourselves to never eat foods that we like so we can control our weight. We can relax and it will be okay. And that is where you're going to find the control that you have when you're relaxed, when you're not forcing emotions or forcing yourself to eat a certain way to make your body change. When you're relaxed while feeling uncomfortable emotions because you know you're okay, it's temporary and you can work through it, you're not going to urge to eat. You're not urging to force change. You can much more easily choose to not eat. When you're relaxed about your eating choices because you know that you can be okay eating any food, unless of course your body has legit adverse reactions. But for most people, for the most part, you will be okay eating any food. Certain foods do not equal disaster or weight gain. All foods can exist in your life. When you're relaxed, you can much more easily choose to eat any food sometimes and not eat them sometimes. Eating them won't be such a big deal because you won't have been denied them. You won't be anticipating being denied them tomorrow and for weeks or months into the future. You won't be afraid that disaster will happen if you eat them. Rather than forcing yourself to eat and not eat certain foods and then feeling like you don't have control anymore after a period of being too controlling, you can be more relaxed about all of it. And that is the goal here. Being relaxed will lead you to being more in control with your eating in the way you want to be. You get to eat what you want, when you want, and how much you want for real. And to be clear, when I say that, I'm not saying you overdo it because that's not really what you want, because then you'd feel bad physically in your body. You eat what you want, when you want, and how much you want. And what you want also includes feeling good in your body. So you make those decisions for what, when, and how much while considering how your body will feel. It's so important to not leave that out of the decision making. So if you feel like you are out of control with your eating, take an honest look at what you are controlling that is actually leading you to eventually feeling out of control or to let go of control. You do have control. You just need to make sure you're using it in the most useful and helpful ways rather than forcing by being too controlling. All right. I hope that gave you some insight into the control you have and how you're using it and why you get into that space of feeling more out of control. If you would like more help with this, more personalized help with this, then I encourage you to come work with me in the Stop Binge Eating program, where you'll be able to ask me questions and where I can help you to stop being so forceful and controlling in unuseful ways. I know it can be hard to let go of being too controlling with the things I talked about in this episode, but I can help you do it. So if you want my help, register for the program by going to coachker.com/group. And there is a lot of info about the program on that page. But again, if you have any questions that aren't answered on that page, email them to info@coachker.com. Let's get you more relaxed so you can control yourself in the ways that will be the most helpful for you. All right. I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Stop Binge Eating podcast. If you like what you heard today and you want more, go to coachker.com/free. That's COACHKIR.com/free to get some awesome free stuff to help you stop binge eating.